One fragrance, 5 actresses. What do they have all in common? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Gabby and welcome back to another edition of the Shall we start again? Hi, I'm Gabby and once again, welcome back to another edition of the Fragrantician. And yes, I'm coughing. God knows why I was coughing then, but there we go. We are talking here about fragrances. You know, I like to really do things off the cuff. That's how I am. When I'm editing, I do edit, but let's face it, I like to be as authentic as I can be. And in my videos, that's how I am. So love it or loathe it. That's it. So in today's edition, we are talking about one fragrance that has captured the heart of 5 actresses, or some people call actresses actors now. I like to call them actresses, actors, whatever. They are on stage and screen and on our TVs and our cinemas, and a few have departed. I think one has departed, but the rest are still here. So we're going to talk about these actresses that played a role in our lives. But let's face it, they're just like you and I. I was about to say something really rude then. They're just like you and I. So they're just women, they're just people that wear fragrances like we do. So let's talk about the fragrance, shall we? And then we'll delve into the actresses that wear it or used to wear it. So we are talking about Shalimar, if that's in focus there, by Guerlain. This iconic, beautiful fragrance. Now, I have a little story about Shalimar myself. I did not like Shalimar on first sniff. Years ago this was. Well, we're talking 10 plus years maybe. But it was a reformulated version, obviously, because it was post 2000. So I didn't like it. I thought it was just not my vibe. There was something in it that grated on me. However, with Shalimar, it chooses you. You don't really choose this fragrance. You may do it, I don't know, but now I finally appreciate this fragrance and I love this fragrance. Now I have come to really love this fragrance to a degree, actually, that in the dry down, this fragrance is just magical and mesmerizing, and it is like a chorus of angels on my skin, with great projection, great longevity, great performance. And this is a reformulated version. I wonder what the pre-reformulated version was, but I don't really care because I'm happy with this myself. So let's go through the notes. Right, I'm kind of going this off the cuff as I normally do. So I know it opens up with bergamot and it has vanilla and it dries down to this incensey Opoponax vanilla type scent with some florals in it. But to me, it is what I class as quite a, well, I'm going to say an oriental fragrance. Some people say, oh, oriental, can you say that nowadays? I don't know. Some people say it's a floral amber fragrance, but to me, it reminds me of the Orient. It reminds me of those vibes. It is what I call a classic French oriental fragrance. It is a classic scent, and it's not to everybody's taste, because once you do spray this, it opens up with this bergamot, but it's in the air that this fragrance sings and shines. And I'm going to pop a little bit on my skin. It to hold my hand up to my nose. Immediately I smell it in the air. I can smell it from my hand. I don't have to hold it up. It is that bergamot, and it's fizzy. It's fizzy. That's why I don't like to actually go and smell it on my hand, because once you smell it up really close, it can be off-putting. But it's opulent and it's exotic, and it is all enveloping in this smokiness, this vanilla that is so beautiful. And it's not to everybody's taste. It's not to everybody's taste. I will say, one perfumer who I have the utmost respect for, Aaron Terence Hughes, some months back reviewed this fragrance, and he did it justice. He didn't care for the fragrance, but he gave such a good and thorough and honest review. I mean, he used all the technical language and jargon. You know, I'm just using, you know, my untrained nose to this scent. But the way he described it, he said it was a classic French scent. It is that scent that I think could be a signature scent. I would wear this as a signature scent. And I know that in the perfume world, one of our other great perfumers, Liz Moores, does wear this. And I believe she wore this on her daughter's wedding day. I can see that 100%. It's got naughtiness in there. I'm smelling it in the dry down. It's got that vibe, which is slightly animalic as well. Slightly, ever so slightly. I think Guerlain, when they reformulated this fragrance, they obviously have done a modern interpretation, I think, to a really good high standard. And I actually think that Guerlain fragrances, once they are reformulated, they still seem to retain that bit of yesteryear in a modern time, compliant to IFRA regulations and legalities and all of that jargon. But I think this is so stunning. I can see a variety of different personalities wearing this. It takes a strong, bold personality to wear this. And these women are strong and bold. So let's go in the first one. So let's talk about Rita Hayworth herself. Rita Hayworth, that honey blonde, that strawberry blonde, that woman that was in the film Gilda. If ever you've not seen that film, go check that film out. I mean, it's one of her most iconic scenes in the 1940s, and she is there flipping her head up when this man walks in and asks her if he's decent. And it's such an iconic scene. And yeah, I could see Rita Hayworth wearing this. She has that air of grace, yet that air of sensuality about her. And also, I remember as a kid, now this is going off completely off tangent, I'd never heard of Rita Hayworth until I was about 9 or 10 years old. And I remember watching the film Private Benjamin with Goldie Hawn, and I turned around to my grandmother and I said, what did they say that for? And there's a scene in it where she's meeting her parents at Charles de Gaulle Airport, and they see her and they say, oh, Rita Hayworth. You know, they make it some sort of comment about her hair. And then as they're going up the escalator, they're saying, oh, the hair is the worst. You know, because, I mean, what she had done to her hair was absolutely abysmal. But she obviously tried to recreate that Rita Hayworth look about her with that almost gingery, reddish blonde, strawberry blonde hair, because naturally she's more of a golden blonde. But yes, Shalimar, Rita Hayworth, I could see her wearing this, and she did wear this. The next actress that wears Shalimar, or has worn Shalimar, we're going to go right to a legend, Dame Joan Collins. Now, Joan Collins, what can we say about Joan Collins? Joan Collins is an icon. If you've not heard of Joan Collins, where have you been all your life? Even younger generations in their 20s and 30s must know who Joan Collins is. Let's face it, she was not only just famous for Crystal Carrington in the 1980s, she is one of those kind of, dare I say, last living legends of the 1950s and 60s that conquered Hollywood, and kind of she made it, but she has always been quite grounded. And yes, she's had lots of marriages, and she's created lots of perfumes herself. I mean, the most recent was I Am Woman, but this is one of the fragrances that she has loved to wear. And yeah, it's a fragrance that's a bad influence. I could see her wearing this in the 1980s, playing Alexis Carrington. I could see that. I could also see her in the film The Stud wearing this to an opulent gala. I could see her wearing this to galas anyway, to film reviews, that kind of thing. It's that kind of scent that is a recognisable scent. And Joan Collins, she is naughtiness. She's kept forever young because of her attitude of love her or hate her. I love her. She's an icon in the gay community, in the LGBTQ community, and I just love her. And I think Joan Collins is magnificent, and she doesn't care what people think of her, and I love that. The next actress we're going to talk about is Bo Derek, who has worn this or does wear this now. But Bo Derek, not many people, I mean, people in their 20s and 30s would think, who's Bo Derek? She has gone into the backspace now of Back and Beyond, but she was famous in the film 10 with Dudley Moore and Julie Andrews. It was a strange film. She didn't have a huge role in that, and she's gone on to play other roles as well, but we all remember Bo Derek, don't we, in the 1980s for wearing those braids, and we all wanted to be Bo Derek in the 1980s. Put your hand up if you wanted to be Bo Derek. She's still quite good. I think, I don't know how old she is now, but I mean the 80s, we're talking 30, 40 years ago, so you do the math. So she's rocking it, and yes, Shalimar, one of her signatures. The next actress we're going to talk about who wears Shalimar is Bridget Fonda, who is the daughter, I do believe, of Peter Fonda, who has deceased recently. Now, Bridget Fonda, let's talk about the film that really got her up and coming. She has been in quite a few films, but does anybody remember that film that came out in the early 90s where she advertised for a flatmate, and her flatmate was a psychotic woman from hell trying to imitate her, and the way she killed her boyfriend in it is quite dramatic. If you've not seen that film, then go and see that film. Bridget Fonda, yes, she was in that film, and she wore Shalimar, so an ode to Bridget Fonda. And the final actress we're going to talk about is Meryl Streep. Yes, Meryl Streep, another actress that some love and some don't. I like some of her films. I do. I will say I like some of her films. Actually, as a side note, Meryl Streep, she did audition for the film King Kong in 1976, but it went to Jessica Lange. And she thought, well, I'm going to go on to bigger and better. And yes, she did. Because what happened? Kramer versus Kramer, Sophie's Choice, Death Becomes Her, Out of Africa with Robert Redford. What else has she been in? She's been in many films. And of course, The Devil Wears Prada, where she is, yes, that's all. Yeah, Shalimar. Yeah, I could see her wearing this. flipping through the pages of Vogue, and yeah, don't you, Claude? Don't you? Yeah. And yeah, I can see Meryl Streep wearing this. It's a fragrance that I would say is for strong women. Those women are quite strong in all sense of their being, really. It's a fragrance that shalimar that we think that nowadays some people wouldn't want to wear because it's old-fashioned. Well, if it's old-fashioned, darling, you're looking at an old-fashioned gal here who's 50 years old and doesn't give a fig about life and will wear whatever she wants to wear. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. And Claude agrees. I pay gratitude too. But until next time, you've been watching another edition of The Fragrantician. If you want to see more of these type of videos, please comment down below, because I do have some more ideas in the pipeline. Till next time, bye for now.